So I've got plenty of cold weather to go around. We are not short of frigid days. It was very, very cold today. I've been doing a lot of cold weather fragrance videos as of late. And one topic I haven't touched on specifically is 10 designer fragrances that I plan on reaching for this winter. Some are reachbacks in my collection, kind of the theme of the year, stuff I haven't worn in a little while that I want to spend some time with that deserve some love. And then others are just favorites that I like to rock during this time of year. So again, I've got 10 of those that I want to discuss with you, so stay tuned. Starting with one that gets absolutely no love from anyone, Paco Rabanne's Invictus Intense. Probably not one that any of you were expecting. This is my 50 ml. I've had it for a few years now. What's different about this one? Yes, it smells like a more intensified version of Invictus. This is one of those rare occasions where an intense flanker is actually an intense version of the original. It's got some added whiskey booziness to it. It's a bit more sweet, boozy smell overall. Not as much on that aquatic tone. That sweet bubblegum feel is there. But like I said, the sweetness here is less bubblegum, more boozy whiskey, shot of whiskey type of smell. The bay leaf's heightened a little bit more on here. It's a little bit warmer. It's got some more ambery feel to it versus the original. Like I said, not near as fresh, not even remotely as close to as aquatic as the original, but still maintains smelling like Invictus. Just a, like I said, warm, sweet, boozy take on it. This stuff cuts through the cold. It is powerful. The aroma's intense. The performance is intense. This is one that I never do more than 5 sprays because I just don't need to. It's one I haven't spent time with in quite a while. And honestly, it's overdue. I wear Legend from time to time. Of course, I love wearing Aqua. I don't really wear the original as much as I used to, but sadly, the Intense just kind of sits on the shelf. It was time to dust it off. It's time to get it back in the rotation. If you've got a bottle, maybe you should do the same. This winter, I'll be reaching for Invictus Intense. Next is a version of Boss Bottled that is just ideal for this time of year. It's literally as simple as take the original Boss number 6, add a very synthetic oud smell, and you will get Boss Bottled Oud. Yes, there are some lovely flankers to this, and oud aromatic, oud saffron. Haven't tried them. They're still on the pricey side, even from the discounters where you can get them here in North America. But I'm digging this one. I haven't spent enough time with this one over the last few years to even justify getting those because I like to wear this one in the winter. It does have more of a warming, spicy, woody feel to it. Like I said, you get that warm apple pie smell of the original plus some synthetic oud. What do I mean by synthetic oud? It's got a little, like they're going for an oud funk smell, but it smells cheap. I'm not going to lie, this does have a chemically synthetic smell to it as far as the oud, but it's oddly attractive. This one just kind of works. It's very enjoyable. I could see this being off-putting for some, but I absolutely adore the way it smells, to be completely honest with you, and it performs above average. It definitely does its job cutting through the cold. Like I said, it's got a very warm appeal to it. Warm, spicy, ambery, still got that fruity sweetness, but a lot of dense, woody smell to it. The woods that were already in the DNA, and then plus, like I said, that synthetic kind of slightly medicinal oud funky type of smell. Talking about Hugo Boss Bottled Oud, I'll definitely be reaching for it this year. My favorite version of Givenchy Gentleman, it's no secret, some of you may know where I'm going with this, it is the Eau de Parfum. This is the main reason I don't get the Reserve Privé version, because that one smells like this one, mixed with a little bit of the Boisé flanker, and add some rum. Pretty much that simple. It's kind of like taking the best of this in Boisé and adding rum, and you get the Reserve Privé. Well, I have Boisé. I have this. I have a decan of the Reserve Privé. That's why I'm not getting a bottle, because ideally, I just love this one. Creamy, balmy, resinous, sweet, iris, powdery, just beautiful. Beautiful, elegant fragrance that you can get away with casually. It's not quite as dressy as Dior Homme Intense. Yes, it's in the family of Dior Homme Intense. A lot of people like to compare that to Dior Homme, this to Dior Homme Intense, Valentino Uomo Intense, and so on. There's a lot of them that kind of share a similar vibe as far as sweet iris fragrances, but what's different about this one, it's creamy and balmy. There's a Tolu Balsam note, and like I said, it's got a little bit of a resinous feel. It's still sweet, but not quite as sweet as Dior Homme Intense. I do love Dior Homme Intense, but I prefer this. I think this is just a better version. It's more affordable. It still performs great. Doesn't quite have the longevity of Dior Homme Intense. My older bottle, I don't have the newer 2020 or newer style of Dior Homme Intense, But this is still an above average performer, 8 to 10 hours on my skin. Great projection, gorgeous sillage. Like I said, it dresses up, but it definitely dresses down too. This is one of those nice cold weather cutting type of iris fragrances that I like to wear with a hoodie. Oh yes, I like to rock this one with a hoodie. And this winter, I'll be doing the same. Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum. One that I don't know when the last time I actually wore it was. It's kind of in the realm of Bulgari Man in Black. Bulgari Man Black Orient. Not Man in Black Orient, but Man Black Orient, which I do have. Now, this one's, it says oud in the name. I don't really get much of oud smell. Salvatore Ferragamo Pour Homme Oud. It's got a little bit of this animalic woody tone, but it's more spicy, leathery type of feel. Animalic. Good animalic, woody, spicy tone is the best way to describe this one. It's very, very masculine, rough and rugged, spicy. Definitely woody and spicy is going to be your two main accords here. This is good stuff. I smell it still floating in the air. It's good stuff. Not that many people have tried this. It has gotten a lot cheaper at discounters. It's popped up at more discounters. This came out in, I want to say, like 2020, if I remember correctly. I bought it a few months after it released. I got it for a decent price from fragrancebuy.ca. I've actually done a full review on this one well over a year ago, like a year and a half or so ago, maybe even 2 years ago. I don't know, it's been a while. But this is actually some really good stuff that kind of the dark horse of the Salvatore Ferragamo Pour Homme line. Nobody really talks about the original anymore. That's a fig woody fragrance. That's quite a unique fragrance in its own right. The subtle Pour Homme fresh. There's a few flankers, but this is kind of like the dark horse. This line in particular doesn't really get any love, and this is the cream of the crop. This is the best flanker in the line, to be honest with you. It smells nothing like the other ones. Kind of a standalone, to be honest with you. And if there is oud in there, it's very synthetic and faint and kind of blends like there could be oud, but nothing really jumps out at me outside of this dense woody, like I said, animalic, spicy feel. There's a woody tone here, but it doesn't really smell like any relatable type of oud to others in my collection. But that doesn't take away from it smelling amazing. Another one, above average performer, not quite a beast, but strong stuff, head turner. Like I said, very masculine, definitely strong, warm, and spicy to cut through the cold. It's good stuff. Nobody talks about it. Get your nose on this one if you can. Salvatore Ferragamo, Pour Homme Oud. Next, we have another reach back. Now, I don't know how easy it is to get this fragrance anymore. It is, in my opinion, still the best fragrance to ever come out of this house. I haven't tried every single one, but I own the majority of what's come out of the house. This is from John Varvatos, and this is Dark Rebel. That's right. This was once a wintertime darling. This was hype. Super hyped at one point, and it's still amazing. It's boozy, smoky, leathery. It's got this castoreum smell that I know is off-putting for some, but it just kind of works in this fragrance. Gives this animalic, musky tone. It blends so well with the smokiness, the leather, and the rum. This has been called the black leather jacket fragrance in the past, and yeah, I could see it rocking well with that attire, but I mean, this goes with just about anything in the cold, to be honest with you. Dresses up, dresses down, casually, bomber jacket, random zip-ups, hoodies, blazer, doesn't matter. This will work. Crew neck sweater, it cuts through the cold. It's warm, it's cozy, it's uber masculine, very manly type of scent profile. Very attractive stuff. Statement maker, too. Above average in performance, which, as a lot of you know, is rare for the John Varvatos house, especially during this one's heyday. But solid 6, 7, even 8 hours sometimes of longevity on my skin, because it just kind of hangs out. It's not a loud projector, kind of average arm's reach type of stuff, but when detected, it's undeniable. This is an amazing scent profile. I haven't wore this in some time. I don't think I wore it at all last winter, so it goes without saying that it's one that deserves some respect from me especially, and it's the main reach back. There's others that I'm reaching back in this video for in my collection that I want to get in the rotation for this winter, but this is the main one because it's been a while, and this stuff is incredible. John Varvatos, Dark Rebel. Next, at the recording of this video, I wore kind of its brother, I guess you could say, by the fireplace, but this is another one that's going to be in the rotation this winter. Boozy, sweet tobacco smell, just hype beast in its own right. This is Maison Margiela Replica Jazz Club. Just, I mean, one of the best boozy tobaccos ever, right? Especially in the designer market. This is just great stuff. So inviting, casual yet classy. Statement maker, conversation piece, if you will. Very attractive, definitely a compliment pulling type of scent profile. Not a guarantee, but the probability is heightened with scent profiles like this. This stuff just works. Doesn't matter if you dress casually, a step or two above casual, semi casual type of appeal, maybe semi formal, dressed up in a suit. It doesn't really matter. Maybe this is a little bit more casual than a suit type of fragrance, but it's definitely a great evening wear. It's great to cut through the cold. It's great to go out and have drinks, get together with friends and family. This is just one of those fragrances. That's what this scent profile makes me think of. Getting together with friends, getting together with family, just going out and doing something, getting out the house, especially in the evenings when it's crisp and cold outside, whether you're going to wear a scarf, a beanie, a crew neck sweater, whatever the case, this scent profile just works, and it's one that I definitely plan on rocking. Like I said, I wore its brother just about 2 days ago at the recording this. I wore By the Fireplace. That's more of a roasted marshmallows, smoky burning woods type of smell, very cozy type of fragrance. Whereas this is more, that's more staying at home, cuddling up, or even at dinner, close quarters type of thing, more of an intimate type of fragrance. Whereas this is out and about and outgoing. This is much more, not necessarily in your face, but it's more, like I said, outgoing. That's the best word for this scent profile, I think, based on the way I'm trying to describe it. Just gorgeous. Going to be rocking this one again this winter. I wore it several times last winter. Maison Margiela Replica Jazz Club. Next, we have a staple, quintessential at this point when it comes to designer fragrances for the winter. It's spicy, it's sweet, it's cozy, it's a beast performer. It's known to be a compliment magnet. It is Viktor and Rolf Spicebomb Extreme. I feel like you can't have a designer cold weather video without this fragrance. It's, like I said, kind of the poster child for it. It's cliched at this point, but I'll be damned if it isn't wonderful. It's still an amazing fragrance. Many people's favorite cold weather fragrance, many people's favorite spice bomb fragrance, and for good reason. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and knock it. It's black pepper spicy, it's vanillic sweet. There's a nice smooth tobacco. It's not really all that earthy. It's more smooth, gets a little creamy, kind of blending with the vanilla. Beautiful stuff. Very warming. Has an ambery feel with, I don't recall any amber actually being in here, but it's all about sweet and spicy. Very warm, spicy, especially. This is very cozy, attention grabber. This stuff is strong. You don't need a lot of sprays, and if you're the type that likes to spray heavy, it's definitely going to pull some attention, whether good, bad, or indifferent, because sometimes you just might smell too strong for some people. If you overspray this one, that could be the case. And then again, people that don't have sensitive noses, they'd be like, ooh, what is that amazing smell in the air? That could be the case with this one too. So, like I said, quintessential, cliched to talk about for winter designer videos at this point, really, but it's one that I'm going to wear at least a few times this winter. Might as well put it in the video, right? Viktor and Rolf, Spicebomb Extreme. This next one's my absolute favorite. Second favorite Azzaro fragrance from the house as a whole. Absolute favorite in its line. We're talking about the Wanted line. This is Azzaro, the Most Wanted. I do prefer this over its newer Parfum flanker. That's a beautiful fragrance too, don't get me wrong. But this is the one for me. I love this lightly spiced but very sweet toffee smell that it has. This is such an attractive scent profile. Wife's a fan. I'm an even bigger fan of this than she is, I think. I love how this smells on me. It's intoxicating. It's playful, but not too youthful at the same time. It's just a great fragrance to smell. Plain and simple, bottom line. Like I said, that toffeed sweetness really does it some favors here while still maintaining that cozy, warm, and slightly spicy appeal that you would want for the cold weather this time of year. Performance is fantastic. It sticks to my skin for every bit of 10 hours. Projection's not super heavy, but the sillage has some heft to it. It's a bit on the thicker side as far as your scent bubble and your cloud and trail that you're going to have. Once that projection calms down and this starts to get a bit close to the skin, if you haven't tried this one yet, you really should. I mean, if you have similar taste to mine or like similar fragrances and scent profiles that I do, especially for this time of year, then you should definitely get your nose on this one because it's probably going to be a great choice for you. Get a sample and try it. It's definitely one of my favorites for winter. Azzaro, the most wanted. Next, this particular fragrance may not surprise too many people. If it was a few dollars cheaper, it would be in the cheapy video. Because depending on how you look at cheap, it could be. Because it goes in the $50 to $60 range. My cutoff's $50 USD for what I can constitute as a cheapie. But still very affordable. Punches well above its price point. It's smoky, amber, and vanilla. A little bit of ambroxan, too. This is Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Another bona fide hype beast that is so good. We're going to spray it again. So good, guys. So good. I have been seeing it in that mid-50s to $60 range. Like I said, it punches above that price point. I don't know how technically this is, because it's a car company fragrance. I would put it in line with a designer. That's why it's here. If it was cheaper, it would be a cheap designer, which would fall into the cheapie category. So we put it here in the designer video because I guess technically that's where it belongs. But no matter where it ends up, point is, it's an awesome fragrance with great performance that most people love. That's why it gets a ton of hype. This is the best affordable vanilla fragrance I've ever smelled. That's the way I tout it. Some will agree. Some may not agree. And that's okay. Everybody has different tastes, different thoughts and feelings on different things. But for me, this is where it's at if you're looking to spend sub $60 price point roughly and get a lot for your money, in my opinion. Because like I said, this is every bit of 8, 9, 10. Some people even get 12 hours, but 8 to 10 hours is respectable. That's the realm of what I get. Projections on the pretty heavy side in the first hour and a half, to be honest with you. I wouldn't call it a beast room filler, but it's pretty damn strong in the first hour and a half, even going into the 2-hour mark. And then the sillage, it may leave a little to be desired for some, but for me, it's decent. It's in that moderate to mild range where I can get light whiffs of it throughout the remaining life of the fragrance. It's not the strongest and most dense of trails out there, but it can captivate those when you walk by that just happen to be smelling it through their nose. If they're breathing through their nose, you got a chance. You never know. You might get a compliment because this stuff smells amazing. Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Last but not least, the funny thing about this is I actually wore this in the summer. I've worn it in the fall because it's my favorite version of this fragrance. But it's ideally suited for this time of year, in my opinion, because it's sweet and it's smoky. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I like for the winter. This is Dior Sauvage Parfum, my big, giant 200 milliliter bottle. Stuff's awesome. I actually wore it to go on a hike about 2 months ago, roughly, when it was still nice and hot outside. This is beautiful, guys. You still get a little bit of that ambroxan smell from the original's DNA, a little bit of citrus up top. But overall, you're going to get a nice hit of olibanum, even out in the air. But on my skin, even more so. A lot of this frankincense, incense, olibanum resin smell. Nice woody presence. It's still very aromatic. Has a little bit of a soapy tone. It's the sweetest of the Sauvages, which for some may not be a strong point because they're not a fan of sweet fragrances. So maybe one of the other versions would be for you. But for me, this encompasses everything I would want Sauvage to be if I could just keep one. Even though I do think the Eau de Parfum's probably the most well-balanced all around as far as versatility and wearability with performance and likability for others, all that good stuff. But for me personally, what I like to smell the most on myself in this particular line, which I like all of them, the Parfum's the one. That's why it just so happens to be the biggest bottle of Sauvage that I have is the Parfum. This stuff's amazing. Get a sample. If you haven't tried it yet, you really should. It may not be for you, but then again, it might be like it is for me, where it's your absolute favorite in the line. Performance for me is great, by the way. Anosmia, going nose blind, is a real thing. So if it starts to fade pretty quickly and you can't smell it anymore, I can assure you, it's not a lack of performance. Your nose is just wearing out. I can pretty much guarantee it, almost guarantee it, because I experienced that with this fragrance. Then it'll come back like a ball of fire 10 hours later when my nose kind of gets a second wind. Love this stuff for the winter. Sauvage Parfum. Well, that's the 10 designer fragrances I plan on wearing this particular winter. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. What in this video do you have? What are you planning on wearing this winter as far as designer fragrances? So for me, that falls into anything in the designer realm that's $50, that'll cost you $50 and above. From discounters, I don't really look at retail because try not to shop retail. Sometimes you have to buy retail, obviously, but most of these can be found from discounters online. Some more expensive than others for sure, but all of them, in my opinion, smell fantastic. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of these 10 and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.